impacting any lanes, but to get Flame Horizon by 25 minutes in the jungle is just not something that can happen at the top level.
Yeah. I hate to seem like I, you know, as you said, harp on him a lot, but he's the one that receives the most ridicule.
Well, your eyes are drawn, and that's the thing about a cast. Your eyes are drawn to what's different from the average game, whether it's unique or just unexpected. And a lot of that game on Bubbling's part, positioning, pathing was unexpected.
Yeah, and even just through CJ's good games and those matches that they were winning, Bubbling was still looking like the one that was the underperformer. So it's just rough stuff. CJ gonna have to practice in this short period break that they will receive before the next split starts up as playoffs continue and whatnot. Daydream not gonna be coming in, so still sticking with Bubbling. They have faith in Bubbling. I have faith that he can improve. Question is, can he do it in this game?
It'll be a very short turnaround, but certainly is possible.
Yep.
As we're looking at the bans, and so far CJ on the blue side only finds space for a TF ban.
Yep, it's gonna be Rise. So they take that one off the board from Mickey, so Graves is still available. Question is, does Bubbling try his hand at the Graves, or does it go through this first pick and go straight back into Lyra's hands? Zed, the final ban, of course, from Afreeca. Don't want that one for BDD.
I mean, the obvious power pick is Echo, but Untara didn't find a lot of value out of it. The thing about Echo compared to other top laners like Poppy, which Untara is good at and is also available, is that Poppy is a great teleport ganker, and Echo is situational. If you're early and you're in position, you can pull things off, but Echo isn't the same flavor when it comes to high-impact teleports like that Poppy, so maybe CJ will go somewhere different.
I think they kind of have to. The Poppy is certainly something that could be picked up, but the Trundle is available, of course. So Trundle could just be snatched up by Afreeca, but they will go for the Graves. This could be flexed elsewhere, but it's more than likely that it's going to end up in the jungle here for Bubbling, and now we can see Afreeca maybe saying, you know what, we can just pick up the Kindred.
Think of a champion that's actually made it through here. Nidalee is still available.
That's very true.
Lyra has looked excellent on Nidalee. He's thinking about the Kindred over Nidalee. I don't really, I mean, I feel like it's kind of Jungle's preference when it comes to 6.6 Nidalee or 6.6 Kindred. Both are very powerful. Nidalee just saw those most recent changes.
But this is another thing that made it through, and he gets locked in the first round. It's going to be Kalista, and looking like Kalista Alistar is the bot lane. Both will get locked up, and we know that Songyun loves this champion.
Yeah, Snowflower's go-to pick has been the Braum, 8-4, now 9-4 on the season. Not just talking about post-CJ, over the course of the season, even that long losing streak. He found a lot of wins on the Braum, but it's going to be the Alistar this time. Very powerful bot lane, obviously.
Very powerful indeed. And we might just have Kramer going back to this Lucian, which has been a staple pick for him in the AD carry role. Has carried CJ on his back with that AD carry.
You just have to wonder how Kramer will look back at his first season. Obviously not making playoffs. Weren't expected to, given the lineup they were fielding at the start of the season, but Kramer, again, comes into this game #1 in total kills, #2 in damage per minute, #1 in percentage of teams damage, and #1 in percentage of teams gold share. Not all those stats are necessitated for a great player.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. Well, he tried the jinx.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Work.
I was going to say that Kramer still going to be the, I won't call it the innovator, we'll call it the experimenter here as he locks in Twitch.
I think Twitch is really good. I'm definitely in the minority on that. He's very poor in laning phase, but if you can get a lane swap, you navigate some of that. The reset he gets on his Q is actually very powerful. It's something that hasn't been looked for. The only guy who's really playing Twitch and actually is drawing Twitch bans is Imp, of course, for LGD.
Yeah.
Synonymous with that champion. I even see the Imp shout out here with the Samsung Twitch skin, but I think there is definitely some potential with Twitch. I'm just interested to see what they do with the rest of the comp.
Yeah, this is a very interesting draft, but it looks like we're actually going to get Mickey's Lulu in the mid lane, something that hasn't been mind-blowing. It's hard to be mind-blowing with Lulu, to be fair.
I mean, Mickey hasn't been mind-blowing this season, but the mind-blowing thing is that Mickey hard carrying hasn't needed to be a primary win condition for Afreeca. That's their development as a team. They go from the one-man army to 5 members who have all come up big in different series.
Yeah. It seems like Afreeca, when they run this composition with the Lulu, they don't always execute it quite as well as they need to.
I don't know about Twitch getting played. Now we're talking about really not a lot of lane pressure.
Yeah.
And maybe it has to be Lissandra just to have some hope of lane pressure in mid lane. Yeah, it's a really big ask to go with the gameplay. Poppy makes a lot more sense and is a great champion for Antara.
Yeah, I think that you have to stick with something that's a little bit more consistent here for Antara. And we might see BDD trying his hand at the Karma, and it will be locked in alongside Poppy. So something that Faker has brought back into the meta here so far in Champions. He's been finding some pretty strong success. So Karma gets snatched up. Will be Poppy top, Graves in the jungle for bubbling.
But where is Lulu going? It doesn't necessarily have to be mid lane.
We have seen top lane Lulu. You mentioned it earlier in the broadcast. And we did see that recently. And now they're really playing around with this Vel'Koz pick. I don't know about that one, but...
Now, you could just go Gragas top, Ixu favorite, and Peel for the Kalista. Sungyun is an excellent Kalista player, so that would make a lot of sense. Maokai obviously is fine as well.
Yeah, if you want some Peel, some lockdown as well, Maokai looks pretty good in that regard.
Reason why I like Gragas is that usually top lane Gragas is going to be just peeling with the ultimate for the Kalista, but it's Twitch, a champion that next to Kog'Maw does stand pretty stationary in fights, so the ability to force him to move is important, and there's an outside chance they'll be able to do that on Echo as well.
Yeah, gets locked in here for Ixu, gonna try his hand at it as Runtara didn't have the most impactful game with it there in the first, so...
See, the thing about Echo, though, is that when you get your items, you can just run at the enemy AD carry, do some damage, usually about 50%, and then have to ult away. Twitch desperately wants to be looking past a diver and ulting towards the backline. He wants to stay fairly stationary, just like 5 attack speed Kog'Maw does. Echo will be great at running at him. It's just a question of how can CJ comp around the Twitch, because once you see Karma mid, you know this is a Twitch-centric comp.
Yeah. But the question is Twitch in a position to have a comp centered around him? I know you said that you like Twitch. You think that Twitch is
There's
good,
a lot of ifs with Twitch. Can he get through the laning phase even? Usually the question is no. Can they get the lane swap to kind of take a bit of pressure away from there? There is a scenario where Twitch is eminently powerful and can carry a game. It's just CJ haven't shown the strength in the early game to justify going for risky AD carry picks like first Jinx and now the Thresh.
Yeah, the Jinx was... it was comical at best, I guess you could say, for Kramer trying that one out. I remember reading the post-game thread and everyone was just like, what happened? Like, I turned the stream off for like 3 minutes. I went to the bathroom, I came back, and there's a Jinx? Like, what the hell was going on? And now they can say that about Twitch as it gets locked in. So, interesting draft here from CJ Entus.
Afreeca 1 win away from making it to the most unlikely of playoffs.
Unlikely indeed. Let's see if they can do it, or if CJ can take us to game 3. Let's go straight onto the Rift.
No synergy there, Achilles.
There we go.
Afreeca's just excited.
Well,
they're one game away from playoffs. Forgive them for this one gaffe.
Yeah, well, that's okay. I mean, at least the CJ fans have more synergy than the team does right now.
Well, harsh but fair again. You made me smile. I'm sure some fans enjoyed that too.
I think the CJ fans probably started sobbing.
To be fair, the CJ fans have been through this before.
That's true. They're used to this.
They're not even self-deprecating. They're just like, we're just going to lose, aren't we? And the answer is invariably yes. And CLG and CJ had a lot of parallels to, of course, CLG started winning in the last few splits. So it's on CJ to build a team that will be able to do that. And I don't know if this is the 5-man roster that will propel CJ to a Champions title, but one step closer with Kramer, and looking most likely like one step closer with BDD.
Sure. Just comes a time where if you're a fan of a certain team, not just League of Legends, but any sport, you have to ask yourself, this team doesn't perform, yet I still cheer for them. Maybe, am I a masochist?
Well, let's talk about this because, see, I come from a Premier League background, you know, watching English football, soccer, depending on where you're from. And that's a sport where it's very much, I chose this team. I support Manchester United, I support Chelsea, I support Liverpool, and I stick with them. It doesn't matter who their roster is, who their lineup is, I stick with them. And esports isn't like that, it's just Snowflower.
Ooh, yeah, Snowflower gets a double pulverize, but takes a lot of damage from the end of the line.
Now, a
He's
lot of
just gonna try to
esports
be a nuisance. You can continue.
a lot of esports fans are fans of players. I love double lift, so I follow him where he goes. Is that an American sports thing, or is that just an esports thing?
Following the players, I think, is more... It depends. There are some players, but it's not nearly as prevalent in regular traditional sports, I feel, that people follow the player themselves. It's mostly the team, I think. There's those few where, like, you get your Peyton Manning fans and
It
that
makes
kind of
me
stuff.
wonder,
Like,
though,
the big names that people
let's
will
follow the
follow.
logic. Esports is very new. These teams have been around 3-4 years, the organizations, if they've been in esports, like Fnatic, maybe a bit longer. But do you think that was the case when competitive sports just became around, like when soccer was a new thing? Did people just follow players because there wasn't history with the org? Or is it just because it's a new generation of people? That's kind of where I wonder sometimes. And that, because again, I was a CLG fan from the start. They were one of the two teams. I thought they were cool, and I stuck with them. But
yeah,
that's definitely not the story in esports.
That was a fan base that had to hold on for a long time for it to finally pay off. And it's been paying off quite well for them recently.
It's nice to wonder about these things.
Yeah, you never know. I do hope for teams that have underperformances to get better. It's unfortunate for a team like Dignitas that just got relegated out of the LCS, which is groundbreaking. It's the end of an era. It's pretty shocking as you see these trade back and forth here in the mid lane. BDD laying down the hurt with the karma.
So let's talk about what's happened in this game. The lane swap is what CJ were looking for. They get it, but they've been a lot slower on the pace of the turret taking. So Afreeca has Nidalee around. They could consider pushing on. They see it. There's one ping onto the turret. They haven't shown yet, and they are going to back.
Yeah, not going to be able to get too much damage in there. Mickey did go back, pick up a second Doran's ring and some boots. Use the teleport to come back to lane. BDD could just go ahead and match that. Would only set him behind a little bit as far as teleport pacing goes for the cooldowns.
And this time it was Afreeca getting the...
CJ.
Oh, that was not good. So Afreeca were the ones that got the meaningful interrupt. We saw the double pulverize from Snowflower very early. That delayed their tempo when it came to getting to top and matching the lane swap. And, man, the punishment is massive. They don't even get the turret.
Yeah, that is bad. And now Ixu's here to defend it, albeit they would have to hold on for dear life to really keep that turret. But you see the recalls coming through here from Kramer and Mad Life. That'll give him a little bit of time to push the lane out and keep it away from the tower so he can hold on to that for as long as possible. But with that one turret take coming through and with some of these CS leads that have been established here, particularly in the mid lane here for Mickey, gold lead already going over to Afreeca. About a K up here, just 5 minutes into the game.
There's a CJ actually just to send their bottom lane back top, and they're trying to brute force down this turret eventually. Ixu gets a lot more CS though, and the worry here is on Untara, you have to think, because where's he supposed to go?
Yeah. It's a lack of identity now for Untara. BDD going to get engaged on a little bit, but Javelin doesn't land, so he keeps himself safe in that mid lane. Lyra starting to apply some pressure with this Nidalee. Something we didn't see a whole lot of yesterday when Nidalee came through.
But you have to mention that, the big takeaway for CJ, that their vindication of their pick ban was taking away Graves, and that's giving Lyra Nidalee, who's, again, one of the better Nidalee players as well. So the champion pool issues they have with the jungle position don't end in this game.
Yeah. This should be the end of this top tower, though. Ooh,
Oh,
Kramer
maybe
taking
not.
it up. The last shot
Is he
comes
dead?
through. It's not going to be enough to kill him, but Ixu saw some mana, flashes onto his face. One more auto attack. He takes him down. Ixu for first blood, and now here comes Lyra. And this is just not a good look for CJ. Mad Life falls. 2 kills down on that top side. The turret still stands. And what can you even say about that? That is just heartbreaking.
Are you tilted? I'm tilted for them.
I'm done. I'm going to walk off the stage now. I'm just kidding.
That's kind of how it feels for Kramer and Mad Life, though. They were so much slower and matching the tempo of pushing the turret. Don't get it. They overextend again, trying to take the turret. And Ixu...
A big misjuggle. We'll have to take a look at this. Just Kramer.
Remember, you know what it is, right? It's the poison from the Twitch, and this is one of the other things that Twitch has issues with when it comes to turret taking, is he does take aggro. Poison on Ixu, walks up, just walks past Mad Life, kills him. Lyra goes for the predict, and looks a bit silly in that way, but still picks up the kill.
He almost would have gotten it. Mad Life, though, did delay it just in time to get to dodge the javelin.
And remember, now your Twitch has no flash, no heal, and they still haven't taken the turret.
Yeah. That is...
So Twitch's laning phase 2v2 is
feel
rough.
so bad.
Twitch's laning phase with no flash and no heal against a Calista Alistair, both with full summoners. You just can't enter lane. You have to leave. literally Snowflower walks up and Twitch has to leave the lane.
Yep. Depressing stuff here for CJ so far. Mickey can take a lot of damage, has to use the Wild Growth on himself, and BDD will not be able to follow up for a kill. One more Q after the Wild Growth would have done it, but
seems
still,
like
good aggression. BDD is going to have to carry this game.
But it seems like Mickey's just been focusing on like wave clear rather than poke. He's definitely losing out in the trades, but is ahead in CS and is building very greedy, going for the Frost Queen's claim.
He's going to lose a little bit of CS, though, as that does get shoved into the tower, but you see Lyra is arriving to try to pick up the dregs of that. Moves it up to the top side by bubbling, unable to find any gank pressure, really. He's just going to have to go straight back into the jungle.
Again, this laning phase is just Snowflower walking at Twitch, and Twitch losing out on CS.
147 HP on that tower.
Same as a full health tower right now, really.
Now it's just a bait machine. It doesn't even have to deal damage. You just have to bait them close enough for Snowflower to get the headbutt pulverized.
But see, if you had a different jungler or if you had a different duo lane, it could be a bait machine in the other way, because a lot of junglers would just come by, last hit the turret, and then get a gank away with all the extra space. But I think it's going to be more like you mentioned, just a source of frustration for CJ.
Yep. Mickey trying to roam up to this top side, maybe go for a dive. Wild Growth's not available, though. This would be a little bit of a ballsy play, but it will be enough to push Kramer and Mad Life back a little bit. Bubbling's here. They will spot him with that ward in the brush, and that's going to be enough for Sungyeon and Snowflower to start playing a little bit safer as well. But with that knowledge, knowing that the Graves is on the top side, Lyra goes straight to the Dragon.
It doesn't have enough health to solo it yet or items, so
It's
we'll
also
be
low
a
on
duo.
mana.
But, I mean, this has been a game, you know, we talk a lot about getting the one-up in the lane swap and answering things, you know, Dragon answering for a Rift Herald. Well, I mean, very simply, they didn't get an answering turret, but now they don't get an answering objective because they're not in a position to take a Rift Herald because they can't push the minion wave in because they never took the turret. So things escalate quickly is what we talked about with the Rocks Tigers, and they're escalating quickly here too.
Yeah, big damage coming in onto Mickey. Has the Wild Growth available yet again, so holds on to that one and his flash. So still knowing the limits of this champion, knowing what Karma can do in lane. Holds on to that, gets his blue buff, and he will return over here, and that should offer him a good amount of shielding so he can eat a lot of this damage that's being pushed out by BDD. Snowflower, though, finding bubbling as he tries to take away the red buff. That was questionable. Throws out the collateral damage, doesn't even connect onto the Minotaur, and just going to have to hightail it out with his flash.
That was a strange flash as well, because everyone else barring Nidalee was in vision. He must have just assumed that Lyra was around, but we know with full information that he would have been safe.
Yeah, hindsight's 20/20, I suppose. Still just interesting play from Bubbling, and it's not looking good, although this time he is at least keeping pace in CS with Lyra, but Lyra has been able to pick up that kill, and it's just been applying more pressure on the map overall than Bubbling has been able to do. Oh, Mickey, you don't juke that way.
The predictions have been good. The laning phase from BDD once again has been outstanding. It's just we're getting closer and closer to a late game, and Karma will have all her damage blocked by frontline, whether that's Ixu or Snowflower. So Karma's going to be utility in the late game, and if Kramer doesn't have items...
Oh, look at this. Parallel Convergence lands the stun, and that's going to be all she wrote for BDD. Mickey, with the respect Wild Growth, just making sure he keeps himself alive through that final Q. But they get the kill. Karma goes down, and this mid lane tower looking like it's going to follow suit. Bubbling coming in. Snowflower flashed into the pulverize, unable to find it as the quick draw does get him to safety. But the turret in the mid lane going to fall all the same. The second for Afreeca Freecs. They now have a 3.2 thousand gold. Going to get shrunk a little bit as this tower finally falls to the top side. So little victories for CJ.
But just look at this bottom side of the map. There's no vision whatsoever on the bot lane. Maybe there was a call from Poppy. We don't know. But really nice spot on the parallel convergence. BDD has nowhere to juke.
Yeah.
There's nowhere for him to go. And this is the Afreeca gank. They all love to gank mid lane, and it's not for the kill. You know, the kill's a bonus. They love to gank mid lane when they have turret taking pressure. A ranged jungler like Graves or Nidalee and get turret damage in, and now they get both. They get the ultimate reward. They get the cherry on top of the turret and the kill, and now the map control, which CJ had very little of. They had a Twitch desperately under his turret. They had a bottom lane that was pushed up. Now they have no mid lane turret, and it's going to be even harder for Karma to have that lane control she did, because every time she goes for those mantra Q trades, she's going to be very overextended in mid.
Yeah. And Kramer is looking desperately under farm as well. 78 to 95 that Songyun has accrued for himself. We can see the Hurricanes already come through with that long sword that is almost certainly going to be built into a Vamp Scepter so he can get that Blade of Ruin King out. Just the components for Kramer, still needs a couple hundred gold to finish that out. Has the Bilge Water and that recurve bow, but still can't find it. And it's going to take so many more items for this Twitch to come online to become that assassin threat against the squishier members like Songyun that he needs to be.
3,000 gold is actually a pretty big lead for 12 minutes, Achilles.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it was 1,000 gold lead at 5 minutes.
That's what happens when the lane swap goes oh so wrong.
Yep, it more than tripled it in less than 3 times the amount of time that it took to accrue that.
And Twitch behind when it's a Twitch-based comp is a big issue because they want to delay, but we saw what happens when you delay because in game 1, 5 dragons to 0 was the dragon score. In this game, the first Rift Herald and the first dragon have gone over to Afreeca. They have complete control of the map.
Yep. You can see dragon getting ready to spawn in a minute 50. Can only assume that Afreeca is going to be ready to pick up that objective as it spawns and have that superior vision control. Snowflower on the roam out. It's going to take a little bit of damage. He is underleveled compared to Mad Life, but Songyun still matching here with Kramer, and of course up in that CS. But Kramer is starting to come back as far as that lead goes, down by about 12 CS at the moment.
Crazy that we're on the precipice of a 10-game losing streak to end the season for CJ. 10 games ago, we were talking about how heartening it was for CJ to come back with BDD and look like a respectable team, but man, it's been a depressing subsequent 10 games.
Yeah, and look at that. Kramer and Mad Life can't even take away the Krugs. Lyra leaps over the wall and takes it out with a smite. So just denying further gold away from this Twitch, strangling him of resources as much as they possibly can.
It is worth noting that in reverse order, CJ have played KT, SKT, Rocks, Tigers, and Jin Air. So they weren't expected to pick up many wins there anyway, but
that is true.
Not even a single solitary win is depressing with their new lineup.
Quite true indeed, and they could, well, no, I don't think, actually, yeah, Longzhu could surpass them. I think Longzhu will surpass them and take the 7th place spot.
Very possible. Longzhu play tomorrow against Jin Air, I believe.
And Jin Air's been looking
wayward,
hesitant, you know, not as good as they did when they kicked off the season. They've been losing a lot of their games recently, albeit some of the matchups have been a little bit rough, but even so, yesterday we saw this 0-2 loss for them. Rough stuff. So that could be a set that Longzhu wins, because they have surprised us with some victories here where we thought that they weren't going to be able to take the series.
Interesting to see who starts for Longzhu tomorrow as well.
Yeah, that is also the big question. You never know.
I want to see Flame. Bring him back.
Yeah, Expression's not been doing so hot. I mean, no one's really been doing so hot.
Exactly. I don't know who we have to really point fingers at. I just want to see Flame. Bring back his game plan. He's good at that.
I can agree with that. Sure, Fion will as well.
Sure. Thorin as well.
Yep.
Noted Flame enthusiasts.
Pyromaniacs, we could call them.
No, I don't think anyone's ever actually called that the Flame fan group. That's interesting.
I think that would be a good fan group.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, we're the Pyromaniacs.
Well, they came from Blaze, so it's a bit on the nose. But I don't mind it.
It's got a nice ring to it.
So does Afreeca making the playoffs, Achilles.
Ah, yes it does.
With matching the Rocks Tigers in terms of match score in the second round robin. Such has been their impressive run.
Yeah. You know, it's just not something that you say when you go to, like, if you go to a league tournament, Flame's there, and you're there to, like, cheer for him. Oh, what are you here for? Like, oh, I'm a Pyromaniac. Like, oh, well, Lyra, though, getting engaged on, getting locked up. Lethal Fisher comes through, and he does get stunned by those concussive blows, and that's going to be the first kill for CJ as Untara picks that up.
First time that Afreeca have been punished for over-aggression. It's been CJ traditionally, they've been caught out in those places. But it's just a kill. That's the important factor, is it's only a kill. No way to get objectives. Okay, they might get some safer farm through the lower map pressure now that a teleport was drawn out as well. But no objective for CJ to really back up that first kill.
Yeah, can't take anything off of that. Just have to hope that Kramer can continue farming safely, not get punished any further. Did pick up the assist, so it helps him out a little bit. We can see a lot of pressure coming in. Yeah, mid already down to half HP. It's going to be Mad Life coming in, trying to stop them, bubbling through the sidelines, throwing out the end of the line. And this will dissuade Afreeca from pushing any further. Tara playing with the team, not looking for a teleport flank. And Lyra in the bot side, all on his lonesome, going to be defending that turret and stop that one from going down.
It's great seeing Afreeca so smart at these rotational plays. It's something that you have to look for. Other teams should really track because they're just so good at choosing their moments. If you just show up as 4 and mid and the enemy team just stays in lane, gets all the CS, and you get no turret damage out of it, you look like fools. But when you're all on point with your rotation, zoning CC from Ixu with the way of the parallel convergence, you get half health for no punishment.
Yep, good stuff. They hold on to that bot tower as Lyra did roam down there after coming back alive. And we can see why not. He's going for a much more aggressive build here so far with a needlessly large rod on the Nidalee.
Might be Rylai's.
Probably going to be the Rylai's for Scepter. But still, more damage. We've seen Peanut do just about a full AP Nidalee before, and that was pretty crushing.
A lot of players would get Rod of Ages second, even though it would be...
I think he played that yesterday.
At a decent time. We saw Rylai's Rod of Ages in one of the earlier games, but Lyra just wants this game to end as fast as possible. Needs some health again, melee range. Operation Dive the Twitch, even if your Nidalee seems to be the goal from Afreeca.
Oh, we'll have a little bit more HP when the Rylai's does come in. There it is. Has been completed. Oh yeah, TP in as they try to get onto Songyun. Should be able to jump over the wall. Can they get the wall set in time? No, nice flash. So flash for teleport. That's just going to give double TP pressure to Afreeca before the TP comes back from BDD.
Worth knowing that Ixu has about 20 seconds on the teleport, so wasn't able to match.
But still, like I said, they'll have that much more time to play around with the double TP pressure, and whereas CJ's just not going to have anything.
Of the top lane, the champions, probably the best with turret pressure.
Yeah,
Built to Iceborne Gauntlet like a lot of them, but with all his mobility, he can go for riskier shots, and the cooldown is so low on his E gap closer now that he can just use that for Iceborne Gauntlet procs and have it up again if he needs to escape.
Yeah. You can see he's already clearing out the back waves as well with Time Winder. So wave clear coming in quite strong for him. Looks like the Bomby Cinder in the inventory. Chain Vest on the horizon. Should be having that Sunfire cape pretty soon. Meanwhile, Afreeca fishing for a fight. Down on this bottom side as a wave is getting ready to crash in on this turret, which has taken such devastating damage already. This should be a very easy take, especially with these Rift-Herald minions. Ixu goes in, gets a stun onto Bubbling. That could be punishing here. Headbutt him into the rest of the team. Front line of Afreeca just soaking up all of this damage. Bubbling gonna go down. Lyra finishes him up, but Songyun gets stunned into the wall, and he falls. It's Mad Life that finds the kill. Snowflower on the run out. The Wild Growth wears off. He gets locked up. He's gonna go down. 2 kills going over to CJ, and Ixu has to dash out away to that Q. Nice fire back from CJ. Lose the turret. Lose their jungler, but pick up the bottom lane of Afreeca.
And Afreeca just tunneled too hard on going for a pick on Bubbling after he'd flashed back in, because remember, this comp is all about buying time and space for the Twitch, and Twitch is in the back line, free hitting with the ultimate. Really nice layering of CC as well. You cannot disrespect a Twitch comp. Once Twitch has an item, if he can free hit, he's doing damage to everyone, and Afreeca lose their front line. Nice punt away onto Ixu by the Poppy, and CJ win a fight.
Yeah, and it looks like Mickey getting a little aggressive here as Ixu TP'd into the backside, goes on to Kramer, already used to stealth, has nowhere to go. Parallel convergence comes out. Kramer will be able to get out of that one, but can he get out of this alive? No, he can't. Nice javelin coming in from Lyra, and just like that, they fire back and take out the bottom lane of CJ.
Well, the cause for optimism was short in the end. It was a really nice play. One of the things Echo can do, whenever lane swaps go down, there's so many lanes which are lacking outer turrets, maybe even lacking inner turrets, and you cannot outrun Iceborne Gauntlet Echo.
Yeah, and look at this. It's going to be the Baron started up here at 21 minutes by Afreeca. Of course, have the Kalista available. Scrymo comes down. They do see vision of this, but Twitch and Braum not there. It's all up to Bubbling for a massive steal. Pulverize doesn't land from Snowflower. Looks like Afreeca going to be able to confirm it, and they do with the smite. Bubbling going to have to go on the run. Untara is trapped in the back of the pit. Nowhere to go. He falls. Mickey picking up the kill. Now the phase dive onto BDD's face as he takes that javelin. That's going to be the ultimate coming out from Ixu. Gets himself to safety, headbutt in on the Mad Life, kicking him into the team. He's gonna go down like a lamb to the slaughter, and Afreeca is just running away with this game. Bates call, they throw Snowflower over the wall, find BDD, and Mickey takes him down with the Glitter Lance. 3 members down, just Graves and Kramer. I think the inhibitor line is going to be broken.
Probably Achilles. There's no way for Kramer to open up. Unfortunately for him, he got there late. His only person next to him was Mad Life, who got picked as well. There's going to be the inhibitor turret falling down. 25-second death timers on BDD, the main wave clear, so they can't finish the game. But honestly, does feel like it's almost already over.
Yeah, this is looking like an impossibility. Oh my god.
Well, that's a max range spear.
That is a max range spear with a Rylai's Crystal Scepter. Lyra doing some damage, and he doesn't have to build anything other than damage because he already has such a damn tanky front
Well, he bought
line.
a third item, Rod of Ages, because why not?
Okay, you won't stack that to full. It will never reach it, but go ahead.
It might. It's probably not if Afreeca keeping the pedal on the accelerator like they have been.
Now they have Baron buff to help them push. I don't think it's going to happen. Dragon Spawn, though, would be the third here for Afreeca. Definitely not going to be a 5-dragon game for them unless CJ makes a deal with the devil.
If you're a team with a strong early game against a team with a weak early game, I don't mind the Protect the Twitch comp. But the roles were reversed in this game. Afreeca is strongest in the early game.
Everything got botched from the start.
CJ are weakest in the early game. The botch, of course, just added the accent onto what was already a risky plan for them.
Oh, Mickey, though, in a bad spot, already halfway dead. BDD showing up. He's going to go down, so just a really poor roam there by the Lulu. Gets picked off now. Ixu on the run. CJ trying to pinch in. Utara coming up from the top side. Will be able to dash into him, but cannot get the stun. Pops up with the Keeper's Verdict. Do they have the damage to take down this Echo? He's so damn tanky. Get the stun, and Ixu is low on mana. Uses the phase dive to roll away.
Meanwhile,
we'll be able to get the safety, and meanwhile on the bot side of the map, push coming in onto that inhibitor tower. And Ixu is just going to go right back to farming.
CJ don't have the space to go for picks. They already have an inhibitor down in mid, and the bot one was being aggressed onto by Afreeca, so Ixu is back. No real way to kill, as you mentioned, a full tank Echo.
Lyra still applying some pressure here. This is just such a great performance from Afreeca. I mean, CJ, the botch aside, have just been getting outclassed by this team that has been on such a rise, has made so many improvements to get to this point. And now looking like they're going to find themselves a spot at the playoffs.
I mean, it's worth knowing that was a Titanic level 1 botch. We've seen mistakes, you know, waves not bouncing, and then we see a situation like that where they don't get the turret and then bait themselves into being double killed by not getting the turret. Like, that was literally, if it was a scrim, that would be, all right, remake, guys. Like,
yeah.
This is over.
FF. But yeah, rough stuff. You can see the turrets just getting melted underneath of this pressure. The Baron buff no longer there, so a slight little reprieve here from CJ, but it's looking like Afreeca are going to be able to just force their way in. Songyun does take that Q, but there's no follow-up to really lock him down and find any type of kill. And the waves are just going to continue crashing into the bot side, and the super creeps in on the mid side as Ixu starts pinching down from above. Goes up the parallel convergence, but it's not going to find anybody. Might just try to go on to Ixu, but he's already proved that he's quite the elusive Echo.
Full tank Echo is both apparent and elusive, even though it's so hard to lock him down.
And he hurts like a truck.
Definitely
hits like a truck, rather. I was going to say hurts like something else, but we won't go there. Inhibitor, though.
Did it rhyme with truck? Was it duck?
It didn't. Rhymed with hitch.
Oh.
Like hitch a ride with my truck.
Okay.
We've come full circle now.
Oh, Afreeca. 2 inhibitors down. Just gonna keep the tutorial victory alive by taking the top lane inhibitor as well.
Yep. It's just gonna be tier 2 in the top side. And CJ are just getting smothered across the map. No moves that they can really make to get themselves back into this. We can see the TP coming in from Ixu just to rejoin his team now with full mana. Goes straight in onto Kramer, gets a lot of damage, and Snowflower goes in deep, taking a lot, but the turret falls down. The face call comes out to keep himself alive. Public on the run, getting locked up, tries to dash away. The Hex Trigger not going to be enough. And Songyun claims the kill. Mad Life on the run with the Unbreakable up, not able to block enough things as Kramer gets engaged on by Ixu and Snowflower. He goes down. Utara falls as well. BDD, the last member alive, but to no avail. Can't do anything. And just like that, with a 2-0 over CJ Entus, Afreeca Freecs taking out Samsung out of the playoffs and finding themselves a spot.
To call it a dream run would be to undersell. This team was 1-6 and go through to playoffs. not massive celebrations, because they've earned this. They've calculated this. They dismantled CJ Entus, and this is a team. If Samsung had made it to playoffs, I think they would have lost at the first hurdle. This is a team that could beat Jin Air. Jin Air's woefully out of form, and then set up what could be the tastiest of next playoff matches. As we see the train, it's arrived.
All aboard the hype train. Afreeca.
Where's Monte Cristo when you need him?
Yeah.
Did you bring your train whistle?
I don't have my train whistle,
What
unfortunately.
Achilles, you had one job.
I know. I forgot my pen. I forgot my train whistle. These are all essential things that I usually have on my person at all times.
CJ forgot to show up as well.
Yeah, they just didn't even arrive to the arena. Now, these guys, you can see they knew they weren't really playing for much. It was playing for a final spot. They could very well fall behind Longzhu.
No team wants to go into the long break, the longest of breaks, with a 10-0 losing streak.
Yeah, this win would have just been a bolster to their confidence and help them as they come back from this break into the summer split. But unfortunately, unable to find a single game win in that match.
Optimistically, though, Afreeca versus Jin Air, winnable for Afreeca. Afreeca versus SKT, another meeting of Mickey and Faker in a best of 5.
Yeah.
That's an exciting proposition.
That is a very exciting proposition. We can see the damage figures here. Ixu did more damage than anybody else on his team.
So much credit to Afreeca. This team, new team to champions, finding the confidence, not tilting after a horrible start to the season, and getting back into playoffs in the most unlikely of runs.
Yeah.
It's one of the best stories in sport to see the underdog story, and the ultimate underdogs in champions are Afreeca Freecs.
Yep. When we come back, we'll have your MVPs in our second set of matches with SK Telecom and Spenu.